I am writing a research paper on performance-enhancing drugs in sports for a class for my athletic coaching class this year. So the first place I look for information is I will open up the internet and type in performance-enhancing drugs into the search bar. And once these Google searches come up, I will scroll through and look for what I think is a reliable source by looking at the address bars. Since this is a research paper, I want a reliable source instead of just like a Wikipedia. So I see CNN.com. That's a place that I recognize and trust, so I will click on that. And then the first thing I do when I get to a website is scroll through it and just kind of see how much information it has. So this one has a lot of information. So I will stay on this one and get some research. If it didn't have a lot of information, then I would just close it and move on to the next site. So then I begin to read the article. And if I find a fact that I like, I would copy that into a Word document for later so I can paraphrase it and begin my paper later. So I found what CNN calls a steroid, so I think that will help me in my paper. So I'll copy that and paste it into the Word document. So whenever I take information from a source, I also like to take the web address so I can cite it later. So I'll put the web address above where I put the information. So any information I get from this site will go under that web address. Then later I'll put that web address into a EasyBib to get my citation. So I'll continue looking through this website to see if it has any more helpful information that could possibly help me. So I found some examples. It has examples of when this, like the timeline of the evolution of steroid use. So I think this will be very helpful in my paper. So I'll highlight this for now and copy it. I won't use all of this in my paper, but I'll use some of it and I'll choose to go through it later. But for now, I just want it all so I have a reference point. Okay, so now that I have finished using this CNN website, I will go back to my search results and try to find another website. So this next website I see is a .org website, so I trust that because it's a .org. And this website is the USADA, so I believe that they would be reliable since that's what they deal with. They're the USA Anti-Doping Agency. So I'll scan through this information, and if I see something I like, I will copy and paste it into Word, and I will also copy and paste the web address for citations later. So this website has some effects of what performance enhancing drugs do to your body. So I think that can be helpful in my paper So I'll copy some of those and paste them into the Word document. Alright, so now that I have those in my Word document, I will go back to my search bar and I will try to narrow down my search a little by being more specific with my search terms. So instead of just typing performance enhancing drugs, I'll do performance enhancing drugs in sports. And then I found another .org website that I think might be useful. So it seems that this website has a lot of information. So I'll go ahead and use this one too. Then I already have what steroids are in my from that CNN article, so I'll skip past that paragraph. And here's some more risks. I also have that from the other website, so I'll skip past that also. Then this website goes on to state different types of steroids, so I could use those, so I'll take some of those and put them into my Word document. And I will also have to get the URL link to cite it later. So now that I have that, I will continue with my search. So now that I have the basic information for my research paper, I will try to get some more specific information. So some of my information was about the effects caused by performance enhancing drugs. So I will search directly for some effects of performance enhancing drugs. So I found a website. It also has a .org web address, so that is why I believe this might be a credible source. So when it opens, I see it has a lot of information. So I believe I should use this one. And this website has some different types of steroids and their descriptions. But right now I'm looking for some health effects to compare with my other sources to see if their effects match up. So I'll take some of these and paste them into my Word document to save for later. And I will also go back and get the web address so I can cite this page later. Okay. So now I will go back to the search history, and I believe it would be helpful to get some examples of when steroids were used to help support my paper, because real life examples can be good evidence and support. So I will look up um, performance enhancing drug uses in sport, or so the way I worded that wasn't quite correct, so the search results came up poorly, so I will change it to when were performance enhancing drugs used in sports. And the reason I'm doing this is again because I poorly worded that the first time. So now I got some better results. I found another .org website. It has timelines of when performance enhancing drugs were used and by who. So some of these results are from a long time ago, like such as the 1940s and 50s, but I'm trying to focus this paper more around current day. So I will scroll down to some current day examples. So I found this example from 2007, which is relatively recent. And the reason I want recent examples is because it shows that this issue is still going on today, so it is worth researching. So I will copy and paste that information into my Word document. Then I will also go back and get the URL so I can cite this later. So now I have the URL. So next I will go back to the internet and search for some more information. And I would like to get more specific with the types. So I will type in the types of steroids used, or types of performance enhancing drugs. So my top results were a Wikipedia page, but I don't want to use that because that's not always reliable. So I will scroll down and look for what looks like to be a reliable source. So I found a BBC website. It is not a .org website, but I believe it is reliable because it is a news station. So I will look through this information. And it has several different types of steroids or types of uses. So I will take some of this information and put it on my research page for my Word document. Right now I am just trying to gather as much information as I can so I can go back and reference it later. I'm not necessarily reading every part of this information that I am putting on this Word document. This is just like a big reference page that I can use all at once. Then I can't forget to go back and get the Word document so I can cite this information if I do decide to use it. And then now I believe I have enough information to begin writing my research paper. So at this point, I would read through this information and begin to format a rough draft for my paper. And then once I get that formatted, if I need any more information after that point, I would come back and do some more research. and then I would do a works cited page.
Perfect.